We're here at the World War II Museum in New Orleans, the most visited site in the city. As a Viking guest, one of your included excursions is a visit to this amazing museum. We're going to step inside and take a look around at this amazing tribute to American history. To share with us more about the National World War II Museum, we're joined by Colonel Crean, Vice President of Education here at the museum. So Colonel Crean, my first question for you is, how did the National World War II Museum end up right here in New Orleans, Louisiana?
Well, sure, that's the question we get most often, and it really has to do with these two boats right here. Those are landing craft vehicle personnel, more commonly known as a Higgins boat. Andrew Jackson Higgins was an industrialist right here in New Orleans that made all of the landing craft that Americans used throughout World War II, throughout the world. More than 20,000 of them were made right here in New Orleans.
There's so much to see here at the National World War II Museum, so if somebody has a limited amount of time, what are some of the highlights of areas that are definitely not to be missed?
Well, it really depends on your guest's personal interest. I would start with our Malcolm Forbes Rare and Iconic Artifacts Gallery that really has artifacts and stories that you could never see anywhere else. It's like a treasures exhibit. We also have our Campaigns of Courage Pavilion that has The Road to Tokyo, an exhibit about the war in the Pacific in China, Burma, India. It also has an exhibit on the road to Berlin about the war in Europe and North Africa. You could also go see our Liberation Pavilion that talks about really what the war means today, how it changed the world. And then, of course, if you want to see other aircraft like this one that actually dropped paratroopers on D-Day, we have our Freedom Pavilion that has many more aircraft and even a tank.
Shall we get started?
Let's go. This is the wedding dress of Toni Silberti. It's made from the silk of her husband's parachute. He was a pilot in World War II, and she told me that she loved the fact that her wedding dress was made out of something that saved her husband's life. So this is our Voices from the Front interactive. We have 19 veterans, Holocaust survivors, or home front workers who we took to a studio, asked 1,000 questions about everything you can imagine, and then using voice recognition software and artificial intelligence, you can have a conversation with them. You can ask a question. This is Woody Williams. He was the last surviving Medal of Honor recipient from World War II, and he was a flamethrower operator in the Battle of Iwo Jima in 1945 in the Marine Corps.
What is the importance of having a World War II museum?
There needs to be some place where history will continue from now on. And I think the World War II Museum is particularly that place. It has the largest history available to what has taken place in our country. It's still expanding and still growing and still doing things to remind people about our history and its importance. So I think it is the epitome, really, of a museum for that purpose.
The idea, we take an immersive approach to our exhibits. We want people to have a feel of what it was like. And of course, the Battle of Guadalcanal was essentially in the jungle. So we want to put people in the jungle rather than, you can tell them about it, but until you're actually walking through something, you really have no idea. This is our exhibit about the Battle of the Bulge. It was the largest American battle in history. There were more than 600,000 Americans involved in the Battle of the Bulge. This gallery is about the cost of victory. Of course, the centerpiece being a transfer case that an actual American came back to be buried in Ohio from. That's the transfer case of Jerry Williams. His widow wanted him to come home. And these are headstones that we had with a partnership with the American Battle Monuments Commission, but these are the exact same kind of headstones that thousands of Americans are lying underneath in Europe and the Pacific. So this is our Freedom Pavilion. We have 6 aircraft in here, including that B-17 above our heads. It's the largest suspended aircraft in North America.
Holy cow.
But these are the tools that our service members used throughout the war, and they were all made in the United States.
Well, Colonel, here we are at the Higgins boat.
Yep. So this is technically called an LCVP, Landing Craft Vehicle Personnel, but everybody called it a Higgins boat. And it was made right here in New Orleans. And the guys who landed on D-Day on Omaha Beach, this is the kind of boat that they came in on.
Well, clearly, as you can see from this brief tour, the National World War II Museum is a meaningful and impactful stop while visiting New Orleans.